And so it might be that those surveys that I mentioned at the top of the show might be one way to for citizens of Iowa, as well as Jason Welch, to make our voices heard on the concept of passenger rail here in the state of Iowa. We've heard from Ryan Galloway, we've heard from Jason Welch, we've heard from Gunnar Olson, who's with DART. We've heard from a lot of people who've expressed their opinions, but I think it's very important for the citizens of Iowa to definitely get in there and keep those letters coming to the editors of our various papers that we have here in Iowa and in Des Moines, and then also these public-private marketing surveys that are being presented to us. It's up to us to make our voices heard, and there are opportunities to do that, and so those are just a few. All right, so I did mention already the Southwest Airlines ad here. Ryan Galloway mentioned that it would be great if Des Moines, Iowa had access to Southwest Airlines here as an option in terms of airline travel. This article from the New York Times, again, it's from the November 21st, last Sunday's New York Times. It does mention that once upon a time, Southwest Airlines was viewed with disdain from the other airlines and from travelers of other airlines. Basically, they called it things like a Greyhound in the sky, where you didn't really get served a meal, you just kind of got snacks, and there weren't a lot of frills. It was, kind of laughed at. But the thing is, and I can say, because I actually flew Southwest Airlines regularly once upon a time, not through Des Moines, of course, but through other cities. And one thing that I kind of made up in my mind is that, that was when I was a college student, is if I can get $99 round trip, I'll bring a sack lunch. That's fine with me. But then again, a lot of airlines are today where Southwest used to be. And so Southwest has kind of maintained itself. It's always kind of presented its, self as, this is our image, this is what we do, this is how we do it. We get you from point A to point B. You don't get a lot of frills, but you do get to where you're going. And now, interestingly enough, Southwest is not charging to check your airline luggage or your baggage. And I thought that was pretty significant. And then the fact that they do treat their employees in a pretty positive way, so I hear. And then also, not only that, but Southwest Airlines is a pretty good investment. I've always found Southwest Airlines, in terms of where you place your money, what stocks, things like that, they're pretty reliable that way. But there's more to read in that article. You can kind of read where they are, where they hope to go, and make up your mind for yourself. I've always found them pretty reliable. All right, so here's another article that I'm just going to mention briefly. I'm not going to get too far into it, but it's such a hot topic, and it does relate to jobs. This is from the opinion page, Tuesday, November 23rd, Des Moines Register. Give to unions, bad deal for Iowans. Culver should have left negotiating a new contract to the next governor. So there's so many opinions about that. It does relate to jobs. It does relate to unions. It relates to politics and policy. I'm just going to read this. Quote, Culver fully accepted the opening bid from the state's largest employee union, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME. That is almost certainly more generous than anything incoming government Terry Branstad would have accepted without a battle. The new governor is now stuck with a deal that limits his budget balancing options over 2 full fiscal years by locking in automatic salary increases, seniority step increases, and all current benefits. The article finishes, the state of Iowa and all local governments must demand public employees share more in the cost of their benefits. And so that's the Register editorial, their position on what Culver did with his recent activities in the governorship of Iowa. There is also another issue, and I think it's from actually the same paper. Let's see. Council vote 7-0 to toughen rules for stores. And I might find that at the bottom of the pile, but I'm going to move on. But anyway, that's going back to our food desert issue where we talked about grocery stores that were actually liquor stores that have groceries, and how there have been very bad activities happening at these liquor stores that sell groceries, and the lack of alternatives to these stores for people in central Iowa who are constrained by public transportation issues. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to move on from that. And this is going back to jobs. This is going back to jobs. Let's see, I'll put that on the camera. Job creation is first priority in the group's legislative agenda. All right. And this is coming from the Tuesday, November 23rd, Des Moines Register. Business Association also wants better revenue estimates and regulatory reform. All right, this is from Iowa Association of Business and Industry, their legislative agenda. The group said the state should promote Iowa's right to work laws and job training programs to attract new businesses and encourage existing ones to expand. Branstad has called the existing Iowa Department of Economic Development dysfunctional and scandal-ridden, following mismanagement of the state film tax credit program. In terms of fiscal responsibility, this group feels that Iowa should produce affordable, accountable, and sustainable budgets that Iowa taxpayers can rely on year after year. The group wants a sound budget approach that avoids using non-recurring funding for ongoing expenses, multi-year accelerating commitments that create built-in budget increases, and automatic, see if I can find the last part of that article. All right, there it is. Automatic appropriations that evade annual legislative review. And so I believe that this is a commentary on Chet Culver's use of federal one-time dollars to balance the budget, and then also the controversy with the Film Commission here in Iowa, which Chet Culver did shut down due to scandals that developed. In terms of tax policy, the group feels that Iowa should reduce the overall tax burden for Iowans while achieving better quality governmental services for less cost. And there's a quote that I'll go ahead and read. This is from someone named Ralston, who's affiliated with that group. I truly believe Iowa businesses want to comply with regulations, said Ralston. It's our view some boards have overstepped their boundaries. They're trying to make laws, and that's the responsibility of the legislature. Instead of this gotcha game, a better approach would be to help everyone comply. We all want clean air and water. Let's structure rules that help us get to where we want to go. And so it does appear that certain groups are stepping up their efforts to influence policy, regulatory policy, tax policy, and the direction of economic development here in the state of Iowa. We have an incoming governor and an outgoing governor. And so, of course, you get a change of the guard and you get a change of the policy. And again, those groups are making their voices heard, which is entirely within their right to do. In terms of individual citizens, here in the state of Iowa, again, the opportunity, central Iowa, again, those opportunities that I mentioned at the top of the show is your opportunity to make your own voices heard, whether you agree or you disagree with the direction of Iowa. You do have to at least make the effort in order to make Iowa a better place for you and me.